Live from New York at the biggest show in legal tech, this is your friendly neighborhood TECHNOCAT bringing you Ashley Dubin from Pitney for TECHNOCAT Live. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be home in New York.
I know, and a repeat guest to boot.
Always happy to have a little extra time on TECHNOCAT Live.
Well, I mean, I liked you so much. I'm like, all right, second or third time?
I think third.
Heck yeah. And my fifth lady in a row. Ladies representing this year. I love it.
Women in e-discovery on the stage.
Yes and yes. Yes and yes. Well, let's start with like the elephant in the room. We're in the room. We are in legal tech. There's 7,000 of us. I feel like I may be cutting years off of my life because I'm going to go. What's your take? What is your experience so far?
It feels like we're back.
Yes.
It feels like we're back. So my last legal tech was February 2020.
I mean,
a more innocent time in the world.
Before the before time.
Before the before. And it feels a lot like it did then.
It really
does. Bigger, brighter, better.
I mean, I think there's some better branding, maybe.
There may be some brighter branding.
It's definitely more plum.
It is definitely more plum.
And definitely more sparkly.
Always.
So that's awesome. I feel like even right now we're in between sessions and it's like standing room only. I love it.
Yeah, I mean we're watching people just walk by as we talk.
I know. You know, we're entertaining.
We are the true entertainers of legal tech.
I love it. Well, so when we were prepping for this, like one of the things that we were talking about is like everyone is hyped up about all this new technology, whether it's AI enabled or generative or whatever. But you know, sometimes you lose the forest for the trees. So like, what is your guidance for folks that are thinking about embracing technology, whatever type it is? Because, you know, there's a lot of hype and hypothesis, but how do you do it right?
I think the most important thing is to, first of all, learn.
Yes.
Learn about everything you can and as much of it as you can, but also communicate clearly.
Yes.
Is if you're going to be working with your clients, with opposing counsel, with the stakeholders within your own organization, you have to be able to clearly communicate about that new tech. And the only way to do that is to understand it.
100%. And one of the things we were saying is like, hey, maybe you look at generative AI or like data visualization, like I'm never using that. Fine, but your clients might be. So you still need to know enough to be competent to give them some guidance, right?
That's right. And it's more than just competence to understand the tech, but it's competence in the legal ethics way as well. We have to understand the new technology. It's our obligation as lawyers. So
Model Rule 1.1, check it.
This could be a CLE.
Ethic credit, not quite. It's too short.
Maybe not quite.
Not long enough.
And no written materials. But we have this obligation to understand the emerging tech, and there's quite a bit of it. And with the generative AI that's emerged over the course of the last 6 months or so, along with new messaging apps and all the short form messaging forms, and even just the new forms of legal tech that have come out in the last 6 months, last 12 months, it's really important that we understand how it works so that we can advise our clients and be prepared to scope it, preserve it, collect it, review it, produce it.
Well, and you were telling me an anecdote about one guy that knew enough to be dangerous in that he thought he was helping and he kind of thought he knew Signal. Tell the story because it sort of is the cautionary tale everyone needs to know.
It is. It's the we had a circumstance where someone thought they understood how their Signal app worked, and he tried to save the messages to a single device, move his other Signal data off to a different device, and he didn't realize that when he logged into Signal and authenticated the app on the new device that it would effectively wipe the second device. So we might have lost all of that data.
Information.
As it happened, we were able to recover it, so it all worked out in the end. But it was a far more expensive and a far more timely and burdensome process than it might have been if we were able to use the tech the way it was supposed to and collect it the way we should.
Well, that's a really good reminder. Like, self-collection may seem penny wise, but it's often pound foolish because at the end of the day, you might have to do more, spend more than you would have if you had just gone with forensic collection to begin with.
That's right. And it may not even be forensic collection. It may be at the direction of counsel. So don't collect just a limited subset of your email. Collect the entire email account or run the search terms as directed by counsel with the help of an authorized IT professional who knows what they're doing.
Well, and like I always say, collect broadly, because especially in an era of, I don't know, ephemeral messaging that self-destructs or reduced retention periods, you never know if that data, even if it's on hold, is going to still be accessible down the road.
That's right. So when you're dealing with a corporate environment that has very specific retention policies, my general policy is collect it. It's better to have it and preserve it and not need it down the road and be able to say, okay, we didn't need that, but we have it.
Well, and there's a lot of AI and other tools you can use to kind of do early data interrogation and sort of figure out what you have and then prioritize the review. Because let's be honest, tech is pricey, but it's the humans that are buku.
That absolutely. And the cost of collecting and processing is fairly limited.
Yeah.
And when we really get into the crux of your favorite subject of human-centered AI,
Oh, wait, is that my new tagline for the company? Yes, it is.
well, that's the best way to effectively and efficiently get through large forms of data for your client and for the case team.
I mean, I think I was talking about it on one of the earlier podcasts. It's not the robo lawyer that's going to take your job. It's going to be the tech-enabled super lawyers that are using human-centered AI that gives them better details and makes better decisions that are going to eat your lunch. So be scared, just not of the Terminator.
Well, and it goes back to where we started, which is that you need to have that technological competence. Is that if you can understand the new tech and you really understand all of the available forms of AI, there's no stopping you.
I love that. So what's your advice for someone that's like, all right, I've heard about some of the tech, I don't really know, like, how do they get that confidence? Where would you go? Where would you start today if you were trying to figure out this crazy universe that is legal tech?
There are a lot of blogs that have good baseline articles that walk you through the sort of the fundamentals, the ABCs, the 1, 2, 3 of legal tech and of AI. I'd start with some of those. One of my favorites is eDiscovery Today.
Yes,
I know he'll be up here later.
Doug will be on in a couple hours.
And it's a great place to be caught up on new case law where judges are starting to think about artificial intelligence, and they are.
They are.
And
they're much more savvy. Like, I've been in the space since 06, and I'm sure for you, somewhere around then, the judges were not as savvy, but we're starting to have folks on the bench who, at minimum, during their entire practice, have dealt with the internet, have dealt with some of the stuff. So there's more savviness, not as much as you'd want, but much more than you'd expect.
Yeah, and I think that's right. And that the judges understand that proportionality, we can't collect this, what is potentially a massive universe of data, and review everything.
Yeah.
So they are far more willing to allow counsel to invest in and use AI where they may have been hesitant before.
They're almost encouraging them. I think there could theoretically be a time in the not too distant future where it's maybe an ethical lapse to not use technology that would have made it much more cost efficient. And it's sort of like will be looked at like doing a data dump, where it's almost like you're using discovery as a sword.
Well, and much like many districts, federal districts have standing ESI protocols, I don't think we're that far away from having standard TAR protocols.
Well, you heard that here first.
I guess is that my mic drop moment?
It's not your mic drop moment.
Okay.
Now is the time for the mic drop moment. So if someone is tuning in for the first time, if they were, I don't know, living under a rock and didn't see you the last 2 times, what is the takeaway? What is the one mic drop moment you want them to have when they think of you, when they think about what you're talking about, just in general?
I am all in on AI. And when we are using technology, we can do so in the most cost-efficient and effective way for our clients.
I love that. I love that. So in this post for the live stream, Ashley's got a little hyperlink with her name. Click on it and follow her because she shares some really awesome stuff. And check out Dave Pitney if you need some kind of cutting-edge, awesome discovery and legal technology work. I'm just saying.
We're happy to help.
Well, and with that, it has been live from New York. This is my mic drop, and we're out.